Good morning and welcome to the weekly Forex review of AK trades for the week of February 10 to February 15. As usual, we're going to start going through the ideas from previous weeks, and then we'll see a couple of new ideas for this trading week. Let's start with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. As we was discussing last week, when we launched the video last week, prices were around these areas, and I remember that I told you that this green highlighted area was a good area for to look for shorts because sellers were adding positions, selling positions around this area. All of these were accumulation of selling positions, and that was confirmed because of this big movement to the downside. So when prices reach again this area, all of these sellers are going to try to defend this position. So when the last week started, prices were around this area, and I told you look for sign of weakness around this area. And price when the week started, make a push to the upside, and then were rejected, and we are again in the short selling zone. So what do we want to see for this week? Well, if you go to you can see it here, but you can see it more clearly in the lower time frames. Apparently we are making an head and shoulders structure. So what do we want to see to get in? We want to see a price even go a little bit higher and start showing some sign of weakness around this area, around 25 200, and we start to looking for shorts. The short idea for the Dow Jones is still valid, so we just want to see some weakness around this area. So more aggressive sellers will start to put positions when right away when they see weakness around this area. More conservative player, depending on your style, will prefer to price to go outside this area and start accepting these new lower prices before they get into the downside. But in my opinion, this short selling idea is still valid. And so if you haven't get in, you definitely had some good opportunities to look for shorts. Moving along, in light crude oil, as we said also last week, in my opinion, price is gonna be dancing around this range between $55 a barrel to like $49 a barrel. So this is a good range to trade, a lot of space between prices. So when we started last week, prices went above our highlighted zone. But since, if you remember, last week I told you, this still doesn't mean I'm looking for longs. I'm still just looking at the market because this could be a false breakout, which it was. But I told you last week that for me to start looking for shorts, price should definitely reach this zone. I mean, reach up at least to 56 and then retest it for me to start looking for long. So last week I told you, now I'm not doing anything. I want to see how the market starts. If the market returns to my range, then I will still consider the short, which was exactly what happened last week. So we saw how prices were again, they went into the range, they were rejected but, to the downside, but also and strongly to the downside. So we took the conservative play. We waited for prices to go below our green area, retested, and then going in. So if you took this trade last week and took some profit, that was great. If you're still in it, if you want to look for the lower part of the range, which I think is a good profit zone, but be aware the price this week could maybe make a retracement again and reject this area, which would be an excellent opportunity to add to the shorts if you're still in it. But uh, you want to see some weakness around this area before adding to your position. But so far, the short trade idea is still valid. If you took some profits, great. If you are still in it, that's also great. So let's see if we go to the lower part. Again, last week we talked about the dollar Swiss franc. I was telling you that prices, people accumulated some short selling positions around this area, and then again added to the positions around this area, and that was signaled because of this move to the other side. Then price make a pullback around this area, which was my interest area to enter a short. As we see, price went above my area. I did not enter because short because I didn't get any signal of shorts. But in my opinion, again, this is similar to the crude oil idea. The shorts are still valid, but I'm not doing anything. I have to see price going this week. Let's see how Monday, maybe Tuesday. Let's see price going around or in this area and even going below and start showing some weakness here. If you get in now in shorts, that would be a more risky proposition, but you can still enter and start looking for profits around this area. But in my opinion, I want to see prices again inside my short area, maybe even breaching a little, doing something like this. See some rejection around this area, and then yes, going to the downside. Let's see how it plays out. But the short idea, in my opinion, is still valid. I'm still not looking for long. Even my area got breached because how it got breached, it seems maybe kind of a fake out, but let's see. Going through again all the trades idea, we were talking about the New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar. Um, we were seeing how prices reject all of this area with this huge week round here, which it was pointed to us. It was pointed to us selling pressure. So our trade idea was enter around this area again, which it had an immediate reaction to the downside. And that was the first time we published this idea. Then last week we told you that a good place to re-enter this trade in the short side would be around this area. And price went even a little bit further and rejected beautifully our designated zone. Afterwards, some news about the New Zealand dollar came out that weakened it. Price shoot up and passed our designated zone, but if you see, went straight back down. So that is signal us that all of this area, all of this selling pressure, they are again attacking this pair. So the short idea is still valid. So what could have happened here? If you enter here, and if you are a short-term trader, you may have got some profit here, maybe have got some profit here, but if you are a swing trader, it depends on where do you put your stops. You might have gotten stopped out here, but in my opinion, let's see how it develops for this week. This it was a stop runoff. That's how the strong hands they are trying to push the weak hand out of the market. The people who have the stop really tight. So in my opinion, my short are still valid. This movement to the upside and then to the downside immediately is similar to this week. So I'm trying to see if price move up a little bit and reject again my green area. This is an excellent opportunity to short. That would be around 0.9552. So this trade is still valid, even though some people might have get hurt in this move related to the news. In the euro pound last week, we was seeing this short area around 88.37. When we published the idea, prices were around this area. We told you that we want to see a pushback again to this zone to enter for shorts. Prices went up almost to the tick. Maybe I was a little bit short. I did not enter because prices did not go to my designated zone, but almost close, and then beautiful movement to the downside. And we are seeing on Friday how the movement continues. So how would I enter this trade now? Well, my zone is still valid. I still like this zone, but depending if this candle, the last candle of Friday, was just people taking profits of this long or just adding to this position, it's possible that markets when they open they gap down. So two ways to enter this trade, in my opinion. It would be to put a sell stop order around this area, around 87.26. That would be the most risky trade. Or just wait for a pullback again to the green zone that we designated last week around 88.47, or at least a double top of this around 88.12. But this trade still valid. If you didn't get in here, which I totally understand, then this still is a really valid short trade. Continuing on, the dollar yen. Last week we were discussing a short trade idea uh, around this area. No, I wanted to look for shorts. Price this week shoot up and went above my designated short area, but then it just started to consolidate around here. So the short idea is still valid. Prices just went on a range this week, but this trade is now very 50-50 because this could be just accumulation of longs. So what do I want to see? To enter this trade, which I think the short is still valid, I want to enter around this area. I want to see this structure clear before I enter, because if we notice it's been rejected and rejected and rejected. But the latter is also true, that the upper side is lower and lower and lower. So it's still 50-50. I still like the shorts, but below this area. I want to see um, this clear. If this clear, it's definitely, I love the short, and it's a good profit because I want at least around 108.50 at least, and then the net profit would be around 107.83. But we have to wait and see how this develops in the early in the week. Moving on, starting with the news ideas for the week. We have this Euro New Zealand dollar idea. This is idea that I really like. If you follow us on Instagram at AK Trades, we published an idea, this idea on December 21, and it's coming along nicely. The thesis was, if you see all of this downside, we see that the bigger accumulation went around this area. But let's see how the volume performs in this downtrend. We saw that all of these sellers added to the positions around this area, and around this area. So on December 21, we posted on Instagram that we want to see this move up. And when prices were around this area, sellers were going to try to defend their selling positions because there was a peak of volume here, which was exactly what happened. It was a beautiful trade that our stop didn't even get threatened. Prices went straight down, But now we are again in this area, which was this inverted head and shoulders, which was an accumulation of these buying positions. So, in my opinion, this would be a great opportunity to start buy. But we see how buyers reacted, protected this area, which was we saw greatly, but now and it started to form some sort of bullish flag. Let's see how it develops. But the idea here is watch the pullback again around this area, around 167.15 or 166.36, around all of this area, and start to looking for buys. Where would be the profits? The profits would be, again, retest this area around 71.48, and then if we're able to clear it, then we go into this area where the sellers added their position, so they're going to try to defend this area. So this would be the best place to just take profits. This is a nice and clean setup. And finally, we have the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. This is just a play. We see here an accumulation of orders. These people accumulated selling positions. Why do we say selling positions? Because during all of this price movement, after all of this price shoot down, so people were accumulating selling positions. And we see how prices pull back and beautifully, again, sellers here defended their position and push prices down. But this area is also an accumulation. So it's an accumulation of what? It's an accumulation of buying positions, or it's an accumulation of selling positions? In my opinion, it's an accumulation of selling position. Again, this is my opinion here. Here is not an opinion. Here is a fact. People accumulated selling position, price shoot down. Here's an opinion because prices are accumulating here. They haven't cleared this low, so still we don't know for sure where prices will go. If they will go up or they will go down. My opinion, this is an accumulation of selling because prices are accepting lower prices after this high. So how would I play this? How would I play this short idea? Two ways. Either put a sell stop order waiting for clear these lows, or if prices pull back to the POC, the point of control, we want to see some rejection around this area and then enter the trade short. What would be the targets? Well, if we see all of the moves of, what does it mean? It means that there were aggressive buyers pushing the price up, and during this uptrend, buyers accumulated buying positions here and around this area, where prices are currently sitting in. So I would love to see a pullback to the POC, the point of control, and enter this trade through the stop a little bit higher than this accumulation and look for profits point. What would be my first profit point? Conservatively could be here, but the risk reward is not that good, so no. My first TP would be around this area, take profit. Why? Because if we see this volume accumulation, we see this ledge, and after this there's no volume. There's no volume here. What does it mean? Buyers and sellers are not interested at this price. So if prices are able, prices when they reach here, buyers are going to try to defend their position, because if no, they're going to be stuck. So they're going to try to defend this position. That would be my first TP, because if they successfully defend it, they're going to push the price higher. So my first profit would be around 88.38. My second point of profit would be around this area here, 87, because if buyers are not able to defend this level, prices, in my opinion, they're gonna drop rapidly because there's no interest in this area. They're gonna drop rapidly to this volume node. And a TP3 could be this area, which be that was the area with the more volume, the more people accumulated the buying positions, so they definitely want to try to defend this area. So TP1, TP2, TP3, take profit 3. That would be how would I approach this trade. I hope you like this weekly review. If you have any questions or doubts, you can give us a comment in the comment section. You can follow us on Instagram. We always publishing trading ideas there at AK Trades in Instagram. And I hope you have a great and profitable week. See you next week.